Do we want to talk about? Sorry, this is an off topic, but
probably not. Then
do we want to talk about what happened to us when we were out shooting the DJI video the other day?
Oh,
Moped Boys.
Oh, Northern Moped Boys.
Which was, I thought I was overreacting, and then I wasn't, and then I realized that I was correct in my decision. So me and Jimmy were out filming a video for a new action camera. It came out, well, it's not unbelted or anything. It's the DJI. Like, we were filming a video about it out on the gravel bikes on the lanes here, gravel tracks. Which historically, the Bose it's like an old wagon way where there's gates on the end that stopped motor vehicles getting through, stopped dirt bikes, people on dirt bikes getting through and using that as a cut through. They've removed all of that, and that's what we were riding on and filming.
Presumably moved it for accessibility reasons.
Yeah,
so that
I reckon
people
so.
on hand bikes, push chairs, etc., can access it.
Yeah.
But also the reason they were there in the first place is
to stop motors going for you, exactly. We were descending one of the tracks, fair clip. We're doing like 20 mile an hour, 25 mile an hour, just riding along.
And
in the distance, my eyesight's pretty bad. In the distance, I thought it was a guy on a touring bike with lights, I feel like wobbling. And I was like, what is that? What's going on? And it wasn't. It was two people on a moped, both with their faces covered. One had a full face helmet, like blacked out, and the other guy had like what do you call it? Like a bandana over his face.
It wasn't even that. It was literally a hoodie where he'd pull the strings.
No, but then he had that as well, didn't he? He was like a tiny...
No, I think he was like Kenny from South Park.
like that. Anyway, covered faces, and one of them, they saw us. We were descending towards them, probably about 200 meters away, and one of them got off, and the other guy turned round, and we both stopped and looked at each other. And we were like, is that what I think it is?
You said, I'm a Londoner, and you just turned around. And you you legged it like me when I see a dog next to the road. You were like gone.
I'm not getting involved with that.
Do you remember I shouted at you?
There's been yeah, you did. You were like, dog, and you just attacked me.
No, on this track, I shouted at you and I said, slow down because I need to be able to breathe if we're going to have to fight them.
Yeah.
I can't be out of breath.
Well, because I thought they were going to chase us back down.
Yeah.
But it legitimately was a replica, or it was a similar sort of thing to, there was been a spate of robberies of people stealing bikes and stealing people's phones, like snatching them out of their hands, of kids, well, not just kids, but people on mopeds in London. And they're generally, Alex Richardson has this. He was riding for Alpecin, pro cyclist riding for Alpecin. He's one of the UK domestic riders at the moment. He was in Richmond Park, and some guys on a moped pulled out a machete, pushed him off his bike, and then threatened him and stole his bike. And he tried to get away with from them, but they chased him down and pushed him off his bike, and they stole his bike. And that was what I thought was happening with you.
Mm.
We turned around. They didn't follow us. We went back to the road, did a loop around, got back to the car, and then we'd put our bikes next to the front of the car. And I was trying to process it. I was like, is that what they were trying to do? Were they trying to rob us, or were they just like they're having a spliff or what? And then we were chatting to the guy who was parked behind us, who had a nice dog, didn't he? Mm-hmm. And suddenly we heard the noise of the moped, and they were going for our bikes, and you just lunged, and then they saw you and bottled it and didn't steal them, and then kind of sped off in the other direction. And the guy sat on the back was just staring at me.
He was eyeballing, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think I said to you, get the selfie stick. Because I was going
to do what with?
Well, it's a weapon, isn't it? It's a 3 meter long weapon.
Film him. It's really long. Get a selfie. Take a selfie with him. Get the thumbnail. Yeah. So thankfully we were fine. If we'd have carried on down that hill at the speed we were doing and just tried to ride past them, I reckon they would have tried to trip us up, push us off.
I kind of wish
James Jobber, after I told him that story, guy that works in the bike shop nearby, someone tried to kick him off his bike on one of those tracks while he was riding out training. They didn't push him off, luckily. He just stayed upright, and they just panicked, I guess, because he didn't fall off and rode away.
Then he, being as strong as he is, basically rode away from them on a motorbike.
Faster than their motorbike, yeah.
Probably.
So that was weird.
I think my theory is young people see things like this on Instagram, TikTok, social media, and go, actually, that's a good idea. It's almost like a method. They're being presented with a method for thievery. And I think they were young. I think it was a 50cc motorbike, which means that they're potentially even 16 years old. And they were like, "Oh, let's do it."
The guy on the back, the one that was staring at me, looked young.
Yeah,
he looked young, even from he was just small and skinny,
like you.
despite his face. I can only see the middle of his face.
They probably thought that's why they were going for us, because they're like, "This is a tiny person. I'll take their bike."
Yeah.
What I think has happened, they've seen this method and they're like, "Oh, let's go and see what happens." They know so many people ride up and down that track. They probably actually saw our bikes and were like, "Oh, that's not a mountain bike. Not interested." They were probably looking for mountain
confused
bikes.
By yeah. We know what it is. We can sell it.
And I think they bottled it and legged it off.
I agree. I think that's what
or
happened.
we are just being paranoid because you're from London, I lived in London, we know what happens, and actually they were just having a spliff and being like, "Why are those guys?
Mate, no,
why are those weirdos in Lycra just staring at us?"
No way. They stopped. They saw us, stopped, turned the scooter around. They were ready for something. Something was going to happen.
Coincidence? They were going to have a spliff.
It did take them a while to come back out the other end, so they probably did have a spliff.
Yeah.
But maybe it was like, oh, they're gone. Let's just have a spliff instead.
And then got to us, incredibly paranoid, with us just staring at them, and they were like, "Shit, let's get out of here."
They did run away. You must have had that air, because you're normally not a scary man. But in that situation, I was like, "Oh, Jimmy's on it. He's on it. He's moving the fastest I've ever seen him move."
This is why.
Imagine if you could ride a bike that fast.
This is why the guy was staring back at us, because he was like, "I better watch them in case they start chasing."
With a jousting stick, with my selfie stick.
We scared them. Yeah. That's what it was.
We were filming stuff with. I don't want to. Do we spoil the video?
No, don't spoil the video.
Okay, I don't want to spoil the video. We had something pretty cool.
Yeah.
You should subscribe and check it out.
You said that like a Lothario. You should subscribe and check it out. It's because you're a croaky voice, because you had a few beers yesterday.
I didn't have a beer.
Yeah, whatever.